my temple, your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams. Somehow out of reach, eluding me until I release. You come close to me when I release, and I let you take the lead when I release. My heart starts to see when I release. When I release, you said, come to my garden, eat from my tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace. It's an ancient
3, 2, 1. Shout out. We're going to release. We're going to let it all go. Something that we've all been learning how to do a lot more lately. Welcome, everybody, to the Young Lion TV podcast. This is episode 123. And we're in the building. We're at True Sound Studios. What was you pointing at?
Just the fact that I can see myself behind y'all.
Oh, it's all right. They can't see that. Okay. You're good. Don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Shout out to everybody in the chat. What's up to Emma? What's up, brother? What is up, Paul Horner? Charlene. Lena. My bad. I know she hates it. What's up, girl? Mom's in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Please hit that like button. Hit the share button. And in the meantime, check out the intro. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young
All right, we're back. We're back, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again.
Hey, man, let it all go now.
Let it all go. So shout out to everybody who's watching right now. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're coming to you live. We do this live every Tuesday when we can. If not Tuesday, we do it on a Thursday. But Tuesday's the night. So if you want to come in and you want to be a part of this conversation, a part of this pride, the Young Lions, this thing that we got going on. We got some Young Lions already watching in the chat. Emma, Paul Horner, my mom. Shout out to all of y'all. If you want to become a Young Lion, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV. You can go there. You can sign up. You can become a member. You can be a part of the kingdom, the community that we're trying to build right now. And, just sign up. There's different tiers. Everything that you support, everything that you give to us, we put towards getting better content, better equipment. Just keep this thing going every week because it's a lot of moving pieces. A lot of people are involved with making this work. And with that being said, let me give a shout out to my boy next to me, my brother Simone Chang in the building. I think you need to move over a little bit, man.
Slide over close to you.
A little bit, yeah.
The closer I get to you.
Watch that chair, though. Don't move too much.
Right.
And then shout out to my brother who is he's a little tired today. Been working hard. That brother's been working hard. He works hard for the money.
Building right.
We're going to do a song for everybody?
Mr. Build Right himself.
I like my intro. I like it.
So hard for...
I got to give him the old school, the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name.
Right now, looking extra black.
Looking extra crispy on the screen. No, he's talking about in the lighting. Mr. James Garcia, Mr. Bill Wright himself.
You don't look
is
like
in the
that
building.
there. Got a little brown in you. Yeah.
On the live stream.
Yeah. And then we got Stan with us in the building.
What up?
Lena said I can't.
We got Jake. We got Jake with us, of course.
What's up, guys? Just letting y'all know they look dark as heck. I don't know if it's the lighting.
Who?
On Facebook, they don't.
They don't. On my screen, Jake looks like he came off the island.
No, I think Jake looks like he could be, an Indian guy himself.
Yeah.
You do look like you're a little on the brown side.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Stan looks like a Dominican.
Yeah.
Hey. I don't know if that was good or not.
That's Italian.
And then holding it down, being faithful and loyal as they do every week on the production side is our team, John, and Amber. Oh my gosh. John.
He's so used to John and Amber.
I'm so used to saying John and Amber.
Nope. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Yeah.
Our girl Rach.
Because Amber is John's wife, so I always say John and Amber. But it's John and Rachel over there. Holding it down.
Don't try and over enunciate it now.
Rachel. But we appreciate all of you guys. And listen, again, hit that like button, hit the share button. Please let people know that we're live right now. Let them know that this is going on so we can keep the ball rolling with this thing. We can keep the kingdom growing, keep the vibe growing. The algorithm doesn't really like what we talk about, so we rely on y'all to share it. That's the only way people know what's going on. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button because all of that matters so much. Share it. And also, shout out to the people that have been watching and subscribing on Twitch. We've been getting at least like a subscriber every week, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's been cool.
Everybody's cracking up at our intro, guys. we are so silly.
Yeah, we're just having fun, guys.
Alexia Timothy said, I haven't seen you in so long. What's up? I can't see the picture.
We are good. You know, we still together, still doing our thing, still, you know, doing music. Speaking of music, if you want to check out our latest music, you can go to our website, jatan.com, which is, it's got all of our latest music. It's got our merch. As you can see, me and Mona are both twinning.
Man, we need that on a t-shirt, bro.
We're twinning on the Darling?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that. We need that on the t-shirt for sure. Yeah, we need to show the merch.
We're
show the
twinning
merch
today.
Bam. You can see me and Mona are both rocking the t-shirts right now. And then Stan is also on the other side rocking the t-shirt right there. And one can be yours for the low price. I don't even remember what we're selling for.
Check the website.
Check it out on the website. But yeah, you can.
I'm kind of mad. I wanted another one. Mine is so old.
Do we have any more of those?
We don't have any more.
We only have like double
Big
XL.
size?
Yeah, we only have big sizes.
Yeah.
You need to get swole.
We gotta get some more.
You got to get swole.
I ain't getting that swole. That's just fat.
Hey now.
All right, but you know, like I was saying in the intro, you know, there's a lot that's been going on that's been, you know, helping us get to that place of release.
Yes.
So I'm glad that everybody's here. It's always good that we can get together at least this once a week, talk about things, have discussion, and just like let stuff go. You know what I mean? We try not to censor ourselves on this thing as we have to in certain ways because we don't want to totally get banned and deleted. But we try to be honest about what we think and what we feel about these topics. So we're going to talk about some stuff today. No title to this one because we kind of didn't have like a straight up direction. So we're just going to comment on a lot of stuff that's going on today. But before we do all that, on the lighter side, I know you got the Jake Paul and you got that fight, didn't you?
I did.
Now, James.
Wait, you paid for that?
I did.
Now listen.
Hold on.
Listen. Okay, y'all are,
I don't even know. Like,
okay, before y'all scoff at the idea that he paid for this fight, when he explained to me why he did it, I respect that. And it plays into a lot of the things that we've been talking about recently with how things are starting to be decentralized. The power is starting to be taken away from the greedy elite gatekeepers that run these organizations and basically have taken advantage of talent since we can remember, you know. So he told me, well, you go ahead and you explain.
I'll add it like that.
WWE of boxing.
Yeah. No, but so James basically explained to me that he was getting the fight. And, you know, to me, it was just like, okay, cool. Like, I thought he was just getting it because the typical reason,
it's a
like
UFC fight.
It's
boxing.
Boxing.
Jake
Explain
Paul.
tell
so
him who.
for those
he
that
is
don't know,
fighting a UFC retired.
yeah. So Jake Paul is a ex Disney kid, YouTube star. You know, everyone knows
He's
the Paul
ex-Disney?
brothers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, ex Disney YouTube guy. Pretty much just blew up on
He started
YouTube.
out on Vine.
Yeah, Vine really is where they got their claim to fame, which was the original TikTok for those that are, you know, above the age of 15. So he got really famous on there, but people never took them seriously. They were like pranksters, jokesters, had a little controversies here and there. But then they started getting into boxing, both of them. And, you know, no one took them seriously, but then they started really trying to take on serious opponents and taking these fights where they could show what they could do. So there's been a few fights up until this point. I think this was his fourth fight, like his fourth like professional fight. And every other fight that he had, he knocked the guy out. So, but the thing was, it was always like people would make the excuse. The first time he fought like an NBA player.
Yeah.
Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Then he fought like, because, you know, like I think he's done an
I think
amazing
he
job.
fought another YouTuber first. It was
Right.
KSI.
He fought a YouTuber.
Logan Paul fought KSI.
Oh, okay.
Logan Paul, yeah, right. So it's two brothers. So they
Right.
both.
So-
Logan fought Floyd Mayweather
Right.
recently. So they've done it.
Always.
What they've done is they've done a great job at creating this controversy around their names to make people want to watch these fights. So they've been promoting themselves, and
They also don't call themselves boxers; they call themselves entertainers.
right. But they're actually really training. Like they're with real training camps. They're with real guys.
I would like to see Jake actually fight a boxer, though. That's relevant.
Well,
Yeah,
that the thing is, it's not as easy to just do that.
I'll
you know?
explain that after you finish.
Okay.
What I'm,
So I'm just setting it up to say that the allure around these fights have been people want to see Jake get knocked out because he talks a lot of crap online. He always talks trash to these fighters. So he's built up this reputation of he what?
Sorry to interrupt, but he had an interview with Tyron Woodley before. It just made me laugh because he's like, the reason why I wanted to fight you is because your booty is so juicy.
Yeah, yeah. So he's a troll. He's trolling. So, but the thing is,
he's excited. This is the most I've heard from him. He loves it.
no,
because it's funny.
Because this is his world.
okay.
Everything else we talk about, he doesn't know
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
about.
this-
So he's like, I have nothing to say about this. But you start talking about YouTubers and TikTokers, and John knows all about it.
And one more thing, he likes icing on his cake.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So he's been trolling for a long time.
Right.
But he has been winning these fights.
Yeah.
And he fought an ex-UFC guy. The last fight he had was
Ben
against
Askren,
Ben Askren, who's like an ex-UFC guy.
Real fighters.
He was
He's stepping up in competition.
so this time he fought someone that was a little bit more challenging. And people thought he was going to get knocked out. People thought he was going to
I
lose.
didn't think that.
A lot of people thought he was going to
I
lose.
studied Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
So just boxing he did? So
Yeah,
Tyron
straight
Woodley just did boxing?
Yeah,
and
so
not-
He was
so
an MMA
he's
fighter.
he's making these fighters box him. It's the same way Floyd Mayweather did with Conor. Same type of deal. Like it's like, no, you think you can fight, step into the boxing ring, and let's see who can win. Which is a totally different,
yeah.
Thing than an octagon.
totally different strategy.
different, yeah.
But the thing that I respected about what James was saying was that he liked the fact that this guy is exposing what people like Dana White and a lot of these boxing promoters are doing, which is they're making these guys risk their lives in the ring and taking all the money. So he's going out
they
there.
get the
He's
payouts
baiting
now.
people into fights by saying like, "Yo, you're letting them steal all your money. Come fight me. You'll make 3 times the amount you make fighting in the UFC,
Yep.
and it'll be a bigger fight. More people will watch it. You know what I mean? Which he's not lying. So
And he does it on like a different weird day, like Sunday. Who
yeah,
fights
he
on Sunday?
did a
But
fight on a
still,
Sunday.
They make more money than what the fighters would make on like HBO
a regular-
or
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He is excited about
Yeah.
that.
He knows all about it.
I can back that up. I would back that up.
No,
Yeah.
that was my point. My point was, as I like combat sports, but when you look at fighter pay, and then we've talked about it before from a musical standpoint, from record labels owning things, and pretty much like controlling what the artists get. Like even though they give you $1 million, yeah, a towel becomes 10 grand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll get it all back. So I like that this kid. Do I take him seriously as a boxer?
No.
Does he have skills? Yes. He obviously got with a good camp, and people underestimate them. They're actually really athletic.
Yeah,
So
they did wrestle.
yeah, they did wrestle. They can fight. They're not
They
a.
wrestled for many years.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's like the fact that they're white dudes and they're talking a certain way.
Yeah, that's the Nate Robinson thing. Was like,
Right.
oh, this is why I'm gonna knock this white dude out.
Right.
Y'all
So
cracking up when he got knocked out.
when he got knocked out, the memes went crazy.
Yeah.
Like
And he handled it well too.
We actually played the clip on here where they were like,
Yeah.
"Was it racist for him to knock out Nate Robinson the way he
right,
did?" Like,
right. And it showed something. And like I said, I like that this kid proved that. Listen, you can promote, and I think he's going. If this takes off, it's going to show that these fighters have an opportunity to go and leverage themselves and make a little bit more money. And the other thing he did, what people aren't talking about, is he took less money to split it with a lot of the undercard.
Right.
Because he put a lot of his friends on the card.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad at the guy for that.
Yeah.
He's
And
building something.
He's
but
building something.
sharing it.
And he's changing the platform and
Yeah.
how it is. So what? He takes Sunday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it's his, you know.
Right.
And nobody else thought about doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and here's the other thing too. The other aspect from a professional standpoint is this. In boxing, you have to be undefeated and fight 50 people to get a title shot.
Right.
If he was a regular if he took it seriously and followed the true tradition of boxing, at 4 fights in, he'd be 15
He
people
wouldn't
in
be
there.
able. Yeah, he would never get these fights.
So he's able to leverage millions of dollars on his 4th fight.
Right.
Pretty smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because he built up a following before, and I think he's showing the other athletes that you could leverage yourself and you could make this
Right.
earning potential.
You don't need to rely on this institution
There you
that
go.
you're giving all the power over
Yes.
to,
Yeah.
and all your money. You're the one out there
Right.
killing yourself, getting brain damage.
It's the same thing with the music industry where we talked about from YouTube, streaming,
Yeah.
all the stuff like that, or you promoting yourself now. He's kind of doing the same thing, but
Right.
in the combat world.
Right.
You know, and you're going to see a lot more fighters wanting to at least try and call out a guy like that because it's a pay. I'm not sure. I think was Tyrone's biggest payday.
It was.
Yeah.
It was by a
Yeah.
lot.
So that speaks volume.
Yeah.
This is
Isn't that crazy?
MMA is
Wow.
UFC got sold for $4 billion.
Yeah.
And
These fighters are making like 200,000-300,000, and then after you pay all your training staff
Right,
and your
right.
management and all that, you're not making no money.
that's a lot of damage. That's a
and that sport is more brutal.
yes.
Yeah.
You're
He would
walking-
never do that.
Right.
I don't think he would ever go over there.
No.
But
No. But Tyron Woodley lost his last 4 fights, so he wasn't really making that much money, and he retired after that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
UFC.
So,
So
and the
this
kid
made
showed
a lot of money.
skill. Like he did pretty well. He didn't. It wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. I think like the pundits got on it because it's just something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I said, you know, he's essentially American version of Conor McGregor. But
Right.
I was happy I wanted to do well because I always like when someone can get
Removes the middleman.
yes, and get the most for their work. It's like me. I'm a entrepreneur. I should reap the benefit. I
Right.
shouldn't have to pay an agency.
Yeah.
I should reap the benefit. If I put the work in, it's my tools, it's my time. I'm
Right.
risking. I should get it.
Right.
You know, not the promoter. And that's the way I saw it. And I was like, that's how because I think everybody was taking the angle that this guy is corny. I want to see him get blasted.
Yeah.
But I was like, this kid is doing something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I a fan? No. But do I like to see people take things seriously? And he did take it. He went to Puerto Rico. He trained in a regular gym. He could have gone. You know how many people would have trained that guy?
Yeah.
Well, they're
Top
in Puerto
gyms.
Rico now.
They live there now. Yeah.
Yeah, he lived. Okay, so
Yeah.
so he took it seriously, and he didn't go with a big name camp.
Yeah.
So think about that. Like he did put the work in. I mean, maybe we don't like it, but
Right.
he did put it in.
No, I never didn't like it.
No, I'm saying you. I'm just saying in
Yeah,
people
in the
would-
general, yeah. That's why people want to see him. You know, everyone's saying that if he fights a real fighter, he's going to get washed. Which probably if he fights
of course.
you know, a Canelo or somebody.
But that would never happen in the boxing world. He would never go from fighting 4 fights into getting a title shot.
Yeah.
You know, and
Canelo's beating everybody, though, by the way.
Yeah.
That shows the corruption of boxing that they make you go through, take all this damage to get
Yeah.
a title shot.
Right.
You know, and it's why?
But except for the few guys that they pick for title guys, that they
Yes.
throw all the bums at them.
To make
get
them look
them
good.
out the way,
Right.
make them look good.
And that's what he
Yeah.
would have to do if he had considered it as a legitimate boxer. He would have to go through a string, like maybe at least like Deontay Wilder. Deontay
Yeah.
Wilder fought. He has like 30-something fights.
Yeah.
It's all dudes, glorified sparring partners. They're
Yeah.
not really gonna put up a fight. They're just getting knocked out. You know what I mean? When he goes up against someone real,
Yeah.
you see what happens.
Right.
You know, and it's probably gonna happen to him if he continues. But I think he's gonna stay in that lane of trolling.
Yeah.
You know.
And he's like baiting because, you know, all these fighters are tweeting at him like, you know, fight.
Oh,
me
yeah.
next.
Well, it's
and
the
there's a lot
payday.
of UFC guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
And-
see? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, because he was like, I want to fight Juju next. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, yeah. From the
Like,
Steelers.
come on, man.
No, that's. I mean, I think he's just.
And if he does, I'll tell you what, he'll mop all of them athletes.
Yeah.
He'll do it because
Yeah.
he is a lot better than people think. You know, here's the other thing too. He showed he could take a punch.
Yep.
He
got hit with a strong overhand right, and
That should have been a knockdown though.
yeah,
'Cause
It should.
the
He
ropes
was
caught
held, but
him.
yeah. He liked it, man.
Yeah.
He liked
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It was good.
And what it also does is you can tell it's like it's painting Dana White into a corner.
Oh, he's been calling him out the whole
He's
time.
constantly calling him out, calling out how much he pays these fighters, calling out the UFC and the organization. You know, because a lot of these guys are still under contract, so they can't take
Yeah,
fight. They
yeah.
can't take any other fights outside the UFC.
Right.
So he's saying like, he's trolling them like, I'll pay your legal fees. Just come fight me. You know what I mean? Like, you really want to make money? Stop letting this guy steal from you.
And I think it's gonna happen because Showtime is big.
Right.
And Showtime, he got away from the Thriller thing and the Snoop Dogg commenting,
Yes.
and it became a little more serious now.
Right.
You know,
Did Showtime do this one?
Showtime did this one.
Oh wow!
They
It wasn't
wanted-
a Triller special,
Nope.
like
Nope.
with
And
18
they wanted-
performances.
and they got
last
rid of
time?
all of that. They wanted no rappers
Yeah.
commenting. They wanted
Yeah.
legitimate,
Right.
It was sanctioned. you know,
Wow. Was it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was real.
So they paid the commission then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm impressed with the kid. I think that I like when someone, gets their due for their work that they put in.
Yeah.
And I like that he's basically creating his own lane,
That's what's up.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Good, man.
Yeah, I didn't know all that.
Sorry, I get so involved because this is something that me and my friends actually talk about. So it's like something up my alley.
I didn't know you were into
You gotta
boxing.
apologize for that.
Are you into boxing or into?
I'm into the off the market boxing.
Oh, okay. The exhibition stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what's up, man.
All right. So, moving on. Now we can move on to something Jake wants to talk about. So, Ronaldo going to Man City, Manchester United. What do you think about that?
I could care less.
I didn't know that.
This is something
Wow.
I want to talk about. It's something I want
Damn,
to talk
Messi
about.
leaves, Ronaldo.
Well, it's soccer. It's something that you follow.
Yeah, but I don't care. Yeah, he's going to Manchester United. I mean, what'd he do?
I'll take it. I'm so upset. My wife is Portuguese. So I'll just represent.
It would have been. It
I'm
would have
still
been crazy.
mad.
It would have been crazy if he went to a team that was rival against a team that Messi just went to.
I'm still mad that Messi's on PSG.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, because he's like on a league that no one really cares about.
Yeah, that's Barcelona's fault.
Yeah. All right. Did anybody see this Project Veritas thing that they released today?
I did not.
I didn't see.
I saw
seen
it was
but I didn't listen to it.
Antifa member.
I did not.
So I'll bring it up. We can watch it together. It's only a couple minutes long.
Yeah, I should have clicked the audio.
School district after we released.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Update, breaking news. We've got a reaction from the school district after we released the video showing the communist teacher hanging the Antifa flag in his classroom and saying he's got 180 days to revolutionize his students.
I have 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries.
So the school district issued a statement. This is in Sacramento, California. It says,
So this is an update to what. So the video they released earlier was, this teacher being exposed, undercover video of him talking about how he has the school year is 180 days. He has 180 days to revolutionize his students, and he's making it his mission to turn all his students into communists by the end of the year.
Wow.
This is what he wants to do, and they're just exposing how like this is infecting a lot. I think this guy's in California.
Yeah,
This is
Sacramento.
Sacramento, yeah. It's infecting a lot of our school system, like where these teachers are pushing these communists. It was just in colleges for the longest, and now it's like trickling into high schools and even middle schools. So they were just, I guess this is an update on it. We'll see what they say.
in part, Natomas United is aware of the Project Veritas video released this morning. We understand that parents and Natomas community members have expressed their concern about the contents of the video. A very postmodern reaction here. We understand they've expressed their concern. And what's happening is parents are inundating the school with messages, as you should too, and here are their email addresses for Principal Lori Strickland, Assistant Principal Brian Wellborn, Assistant Principal Derek Dykstra, Assistant Principal Jackie Freitas. We even got a message from the Mika Grant, who is on the board. Yep. Yeah. He's on the board of the school district. Quote, I'm a lifelong defender of individual freedoms and personal expression, but I am deeply concerned when I've seen the video released by Project Veritas. Parents depend upon us to provide a safe and nurturing educational environment for their children. There's also a school board meeting tomorrow. Project Veritas reporters will be in attendance. This is going to be an unbelievable thing to witness. You can actually stream into it at this address here, natomusunited.org/Board of Trustees videos. Parents are going to be showing up. It's going to be something else to behold. What's most interesting about today is someone pointed out that this guy actually has an INSOC tattoo on his arm. You'll recall what INSOC is. It's the fictional one party in George Orwell's dystopia 1984. Usually people are opposed to that dystopia. No, this guy, this high school teacher has tattooed INSOC from 1984 on his arm.
Wow.
How do you even get hired?
Yeah.
How do you even have a job? Like,
Long sleeves, man.
Right.
it's in California. I'm sure they've seen his tattoo. Like,
Well, that's Northern California.
so
Just saying.
It's still California.
A little cold.
A little colder.
a little colder. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, true.
Ignorance is strength. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Did I get that right? Ignorance is strength. He actually embraces this motto by having the tattoo on his arm. Also interesting about today is we confronted the teacher. Our undercover journalist did so in Sacramento, and he told us that he felt uncomfortable.
I don't feel comfortable with this.
When undercover,
He has a
told the
Soviet.
person he thought he was speaking to, a parent, that his role is to make people feel uncomfortable if they don't like the Antifa flag.
Like I have an Antifa flag on my wall, and a student complained about that, and he said it made him feel uncomfortable. Well, this is meant to make fascists feel uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable, I don't really know what to tell you. Like,
We've released a lot of videos over the last 10 years, but some are saying that this video is maybe the most shocking or the most influential because, again, it is a public school teacher saying and doing these things. Listen to what Tim Pool had to say.
This is probably one of Project Veritas's most important stories. It's not about Google or other massive multinational billion-dollar corporations. It's not about politicians and the policies they put in place. This is about a high school teacher. That's it.
To follow up on what Tim Pool said, I think it's the simplicity of what this man has said and how obvious, how shocking what he's doing is. He's giving extra credit. He's bragging about giving extra credit assignments to students to go to Antifa rallies and giving them, quote, they students get points for doing it. Unbelievable. Send an email to these principals. There's going to be a consequence to the story. We're already having people inside the school send us messages. They're probably going to record what's happening in this school. More to come. Stay tuned.
That's crazy. How does he get hired, dude?
Yeah.
Well, he, like Jamie said, not to say it, but he's probably in the community.
Yeah.
A certain community, and they need to diversify. He represents a certain demographic that they want. So they're so excited to fill those positions with certain people. They're not gonna properly vet to see where someone stands because they want to show themselves as progressive, changing things, changing mindsets, changing cultures. They're not gonna look into this stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think that they do. At least I'm supposing,
And then I think a lot of people are brainwashed with the propaganda of what Antifa stands for. Like he said, well, it's just supposed to make fascists feel uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable, what is I don't know.
And then he says, I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's like
the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
It's funny when he was saying that he was wearing a sickle and hammer.
Oh yeah.
So it's literally
communists.
USSR.
And to add on to what I was saying, I think a lot of times, because we live in a quote unquote cancel culture, we live in a society where people feel like we could be the new person to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
We're not going to vet people to really see if they have the best interests of the school, the children. It's almost like we're trying to fill a position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you would think that like schools would have this process in place to make sure that you're not hiring people that are trying to push ideologies on
They
people.
probably do, but it's like when you're so interested in like looking good to the world, or looking good to the community.
Look how inclusive we are.
Forget that. We can, we've seen it plenty of times in movies where it's like a tongue-in-cheek satire kind of thing where the guy's like, resume, you don't need this, and he throws it in the trash can, and the guy screws up everything.
Yeah,
and it's like it's meant to show that the person is clearly demonstrating a bias towards this person. I've seen it. I'm sure you guys have seen it.
Yeah, The Simpsons a lot.
Yep.
Does
you know what I mean?
Like that,
Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Where he brings in his resume, and the guys, we don't need this.
Yeah.
And he screws up everything.
Yeah.
And the whole metaphor is that they never vetted this guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of that happens in real life circumstances because these people just want to look good to their, you know what I mean? Look what we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lena said, I guess only some people actually have to do background checks. Wow. SMH. And then, geez, talk about imposing your beliefs. SMH. Wow. Yeah.
I think what we're seeing right now is that the people who are raging are going to be the loudest, right? And then the people who are the pacifists are going to allow these things to happen. And that's the weaker people, like James was saying, they're the ones that they want to look good, right? They want to look good, so they're like, and if you want to look good, you're always in fear of like, okay, if this thing's right, then I'm going to do this. If this thing's right, then I'm going to do that. Like, what are people? What do I perceive that people are going to like? And I mean, you can even look at that in business and marketing. Why are we getting all these things in marketing? Because it's what's culturally accepted at the time, and you got a bunch of screaming adult children. Basically, that's what it is. You got a bunch of screaming adult children that are mad because they're not getting what they wanted,
right?
You know. And they need to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And discipline comes in many ways, you know. But I think this is they're like what's happening right now is there's a push before things shift. And a lot of times when you see kids go and snap, why do they do that? Because they're caught up in the moment, right? They're caught up in the moment of what's going on, and they're not looking at the overall picture, you know?
I think we wrote a song about that.
Yeah. Called Find My Way.
Yeah. So easy to be like everyone you see, caught up in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting because, like, you know, I take everything, I bring it back to God, bring it back to Jesus, right? So when you look at Jesus and you look at how he shifts us and orders us, and really it's about ordering our emotions, right? What happens when people snap? They're caught up in the moment. You know, they're caught up in their feelings.
Right.
And what does God do with us? He teaches us patience. He teaches us how to endure for them, those type of people, right? Whoever it is, or he teaches us how to calm down, you know, and not move out of our emotions. So he's ordering us. Those are the people you want to lead. Those are the people you want to rule.
Right.
Right. Those who have been ordered in him.
Yeah.
And so those are the people that are looking at. It's funny because you got the temporary, but then you got the eternal. And in God, it's about the eternal. And the eternal, he's looking at the bigger picture. You got people who are looking at the right now. Like if you think about just this, okay, I want my kids to be okay and me to be okay. Or some people, I want my kids and my grandkids to be okay. That's still temporary, right?
Right.
I want my kids and their kids' kids to be okay. That's
Right.
still temporary, but God is looking at the whole picture.
Right.
And when we take ourselves out the equation, we always got like a limit on what we can see and do, and that's how we move.
Right.
But when we trust in God, he's like, he shifts the way we see things because he's speaking about the eternal.
Right.
You know, and whatever we're looking at that's finite. You know, it's finite. It's going to pass away.
Yeah.
But he's looking at the eternal, and we can speak to that. We can cover these type of people, and I'm really just saying, like, all these people are just trying to. They're lashing out, but it's all temporary. And if people who call themselves Christians will stop getting drawn in to that kind of fight, you know, you have the Proud Boys and the Antifa. It's like these fights that are like. Y'all just getting drawn into the war.
Yep.
You know,
and it doesn't accomplish anything.
It
just creates more division
because they're not listening to each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I add to it? Another thing too, I've noticed what I think people don't realize is career moves, right? So a lot of times what people will do from a career standpoint is do things to make their resume look really good. So they'll purposely bring in someone, and they may not vet them properly because they know that when I leave this school district and I go to, let's say, North Florida to be the principal there, I could say, I hired the first person of this community. I hired the first black person. I hired the first woman.
I'm progressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people use things.
It's on my record, guys.
People will use things because they don't really care about the children. They're not going to be invested in that community for a long time. It's about making their resume look good.
Yep.
So I think we forget sometimes that there are a lot of people who have a vested interest, but not in the community and in the job they took. The vested
My head's in the shop too.
they have a vested they have a vested interest in their career, in what's going to make them look good when they're 55 and they're now the new mayor, the new head of this office or whatever. So they want to put that. People do that a lot,
and you see it in politics.
You see it in politics. You see it with the DEAs and all stuff like that. They care about the move right now because they know that they can use this. It's really a stepping stone. So these kids, they don't care about them, you know.
And I think people don't understand how that works enough. Where it's like, you're voting these people in office who say all the right things,
right?
But these people are so focused on building their own name in that arena that comes before anything else.
Yeah, they're not thinking about you. So they'll tell you what you need to hear, but it's really the career alignment that they're going to have, the resume, when they make the transition from vice principal to principal, assistant. Now they're running for mayor. Now they're running for town council. And they're climbing a trajectory. So they don't really care about these kids to begin with.
Right.
It's just, what do I do to make myself look good?
Yeah.
I recently watched this movie. It was on Netflix. It's not there anymore. It's about the whole college scandal. Have you guys seen this?
The documentary.
Yeah,
I never watched it.
It was like a documentary / movie.
Okay.
They got a real actor to play the guy, and how he kind of went around and was like basically convincing these wealthy parents that, oh yeah, we'll make him look good. We'll make him look ahead of the class. We'll give him these math scores. We'll put him on the it was just to make them look good.
Yeah.
No one vetted these people. You know what I mean? And I think in a sense, a lot of these people who may have hired a guy like this I just want this on my resume.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. And that's what we are dealing with when a system is corrupted to the point where it is. And this all of these institutions, and we've talked about this many times in the past, have been so infiltrated by greed and by corruption that
because it wouldn't happen if they had the best interests of these kids in the future.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why it's not going to change by trying to change it.
Yeah.
It won't happen. You're just going to make it worse.
Right.
You can't change a thing by looking at the obstacle.
Yeah.
You have to focus on the solution.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come up with a solution by looking at the obstacle. It's like all these people trying to deal with racism. You can't deal with racism by trying to deal with racism.
Right.
You have to go and trust in. This is where we trust in God. If you've been hurt before by these things, you're a victim.
Yeah.
If you've been a victim of this type of corruption, you'll continue to be a victim as you try to fight against it.
Right.
Right. You can't set yourself free from bondage.
Yeah.
So it's only God that sets us free. And that's kind of the key to this all, is our focus is in God.
Yeah.
And he gives us the ability to see what we can't see.
Right.
And then now we can discern when somebody is fake because you know the real.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, just because you've seen the real and the fake and it's happened to you, doesn't mean you're going to be able to see the fake later on. Because somebody might have just a bigger scheme.
Yeah.
They
might be better at tricking you.
They might be better at tricking you. You're always going to have something that tries to keep you under it.
And the thing is, when you go around telling everybody why you're hurt, it makes it easier for someone to know what to tell you to draw you in and make you feel safe now. Because they just literally tell you all the opposite things.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I was just me and Liz watched that movie, The Banker.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's kind of like along the lines of what you're talking about. You know, it's a really good movie, and the story is,
you liked it?
Yeah, it's a true story, and it's really in depth about this guy who partners up, these two black guys who partner up and want to like get into real estate and banking, but at that time in the country they wouldn't let black people do certain things, so they had to like bring a white dude in as the face to come in, and they were like the silent partners.
Oh, I think I watched that.
Yeah,
it's on Apple TV.
Samuel L. Jackson and the
Anthony
dude,
Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
The kid was like their friend, and he really didn't know anything.
Yeah, but they would teach him everything, and but the white people they wouldn't vet him; they just believed him because because
that's a good point.
But then on the other side of that, to what his point was, then when Anthony Mackie's character tries to take on the entire racist agenda by saying, it totally falls apart. He's like, I'm gonna start giving out loans to black people. We're gonna find a way to buy this bank and then force them to give loans to black people, and then everything blows up in his face because it was like you can't fight fire with fire. You know what I mean? You can't do it. It's
not all the time.
It's like it's like you're saying, like you can't take on this entire corruption yourself and think you're gonna dismantle it. Like you can expose it in certain ways, but at the end of the movie, it ended up just him have to take his money and go to an island somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of it was confiscated.
Yeah, but he had a little bit stashed. He had the dude stash some away on the island, and but. It made me think of that because both of you guys were talking about those points, and that movie had it in there. So check that movie out if you get a chance. It's called The Banker.
It was really good, and I like movies like that too.
Yeah,
I think that sometimes you need something, to really show. Because like you said, I didn't think of that element, but that's a great analogy. It's like wow, he got a little too. He was doing well.
Yep.
And he probably
doing great.
Yeah, he would have win.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to win all.
I want it all. Yeah. And that's what the Samuel L. Jackson character was telling them. Like
calm down.
You're trying to do too much. And
But he saw an opportunity to help, and it was. And if you think about it, what's it birthed out of? Him being a victim.
Right.
It all starts out with him being a victim, right?
Yep.
Him growing up in that community, in that society.
He wanted to buy the building where the banks were located because they wouldn't talk to him.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to buy the building there.
Right.
And what does that do? That makes you feel something, right? It feels good. So really, it's about your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's about making yourself feel good.
Right.
About sticking it to the man in a way.
I want to prove.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Shout out to the comments. We got a few. Let me read some. Lena said, I personally like to say it's not my victory, but it's my fight, not to be able to let things go, but still keep in mind whose side I chose. And then she said, exactly, Jamie, amen. I don't know what that was in reference to. Yep. And if we make the right choices, it makes the setting free part so much easier. Yep. All right. So keep it moving. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Afghanistan. We're going to try to go fast because we started a little late and it's 9:30 already. So I got a couple things on TikTok. That Libs on TikTok channel posted up this video of the Taliban in Afghanistan, basically doing a mock funeral to the U.S., the UK, and I forget.
France? What's that, France?
Yeah, France. And it's funny because the more and more you see this stuff, they want us to believe here that they made a deal with these guys and that we've got it all under control. Mm-hmm. They're gonna cooperate with us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, did you guys see the video of the one dude, the lady confronting Biden about her son, and then he like rolls his eyes, like
total disregard.
Yeah, because he don't really care.
Yeah,
and that shows,
like we were saying,
he doesn't really care. All he cares about is the
optics, optics of it all. Right. Just like the one, he goes to the one ceremony where they were bringing the and he keeps he kept checking his watch
every time they showed. Every time they did, I guess, a different family or whatever like that, he checked his watch.
He's checking his watch.
It was like 13 times, something crazy.
Yeah. And everyone is blowing it up on Twitter, but CNN makes an
How
excuses
disrespectful! Like,
Yeah.
not honoring the family at all, and just imagine being the father.
On a this is not pertaining to this, but kind of. I was watching this thing about and I don't know how true this is, so take it with a grain of salt. But the harvesting of opioids for pharmaceutical companies. I don't know how real this is, but I heard that this is one of the number one producers. This is why these countries.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All
Were
right.
you here when we talked about this? I mean, you might not have been
I
here that
think
week.
so.
But we talked about this when the Afghanistan thing first popped off. Yeah, like Afghanistan, when the U.S. went in there, there's a lot of soldiers that talk about how they didn't understand why their job was to guard these poppy fields.
Right.
And then the fact that Afghanistan is responsible for 80% of the world's opioids.
Yes.
And
that's what's to me, because there was a guy. It was about him, a former soldier, football player.
Yeah.
Pat Tillman. And some of the letters he sent to his wife.
Yeah.
About what they were doing.
Right.
And it was amazing to know that 20 years and all these pharmaceutical companies that get their
that blew up off of this.
Right.
And when you think about it, back when we went into Afghanistan was around the time that the Taliban was in there burning poppy fields. They used to be in there burning all the poppy fields.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anomaly was talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't finished it, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to understand, because the whole thing was about understanding why we're there, which I don't want to get into, but there's a lot of...
That's a whole... We could do a whole nother podcast on that, which we probably should. We should probably all do a bunch of research on that and go in depth on it, because there is a lot there, and it plays into the way we are pulled into these fights by the media.
Yes.
And the way the media presents it to us. This is what I believe they're trying to do now, because there's a reason why CNN, MSNBC are actually siding away from Biden, is because they want us to go back into war with it. They want us to bring troops back in there. The people that they're beholden to, they get rich off of this stuff.
There was a clip of CNN where one of the reporters, she was saying that the Afghanistan people were saying "Death to America," but someone translated says no, they were saying "God be with you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's
and she said they're saying "Death to America," but they sound really peaceful.
Yeah. Now she said they seem friendly.
Right. So it's interesting. I've not finished it, but it's why we're there. The person is answering why we're there, and they're kind of like doing more like a voiceover.
Okay.
On how and it's been going on for a long time. The Russians were there a long time, or whatever it is, and
now they're after the minerals for.
The lithium. Yeah, they found out that there are tons of lithium mining going on there now.
Yeah.
And so
China wants it.
China wants that.
Right.
Get out, U.S.
Yeah.
Right.
So who do you think is funding them? The Taliban to.
It's kind of hard because from a pure human perspective, I mean, I know where my faith is.
Yeah.
But from a human perspective, I can see why people are like, I don't know what to believe, man.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
Right. Information is all over the place.
Right.
They're lying to you.
What source do you trust?
Yeah, and even the sources are only going off of what they're being fed. So it's like,
well, one guy interviewed them and he was asking them, do you know about 9/11? And these people were, what?
They never heard of it.
They
never heard of it. Yeah.
He said these are the people we're here to catch.
Right.
They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
They're goat herders or whatever it is, and and by the way, they've been using opium for a long time. Maybe not in the way we use it, but
not as heroin and oxycodone and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean it's poppy seeds.
Right.
If you
I don't know much about it, but it was I was like, wow, it's a lot.
Yeah, opium's been around forever.
Yeah.
That was a lot of people believe that's what Vietnam had a lot to do with.
Oh, they have that too.
Yeah, because there was huge opium poppy fields out there too.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to. First of all, there's so many people still over there, so
yeah.
We need to pray for these people. That there's a way out, that they're kept safe. That they're protected. Because it's crazy how they left. And then it's like, yeah, of course we can blame, but the issue is they're there
Yeah.
regardless. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right now, and the people that are there have nothing to do with the blame. So
Right.
just real quick, Paul commented, said Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires, which is another amazing point, because when you look at it through history, all major empires collapse after they go into Afghanistan. Like it happened to everyone, Egypt, Rome, like everybody.
Wow.
So like, you know, people have been talking about that as of late, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Really?
real.
They've all
yeah.
gone?
Yeah, everyone who has like tried to go into Afghanistan has their empire has fallen
For
afterwards.
that purpose, for the, opium, or
No, just any type of conflict.
Oh, okay, just
that they get involved
The
with.
Mongols?
Yeah. Like nobody can conquer that territory for some reason.
Wow.
But again, like even with like the Taliban, what's going on there, the mockery of America right now, you know, the shame that's going on like with this country, like these are all things.
Go ahead.
These are all things we need to see and not like want to fight back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not want to like prove ourselves, but just see and be like, okay, we need to humble ourselves. You know, we need to humble ourselves as a nation. Like we voted these people in.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not just talking about Biden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about
Trump.
I'm talking
everybody.
Well, a little different, but yeah, Trump's a little different.
Certain things.
Yeah,
But yeah, a lot of things.
I mean, yeah, I'm talking in terms of Trump. I believe he should have been in there. I don't believe, and this is me. So
Right.
I don't believe that Biden should be in there.
Right.
You know? But people voted him in because
Did they?
They voted him in.
the people who did vote him in.
89 million?
The people who did vote
The
him
people
in.
who did actually vote for Biden voted him in because they bought into the idea that anything but Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think for most people that voted for him, because he wasn't even doing particularly well amongst the Democrats at first, you know.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was more about anything but Trump because
Yeah.
of so much press and so much media, you know, manipulation over the last 4 years.
Him or Kamala didn't do good amongst the
Yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah.
Especially Kamala.
Yeah.
But as much as they said,
Kamala.
as much as they said that Trump is like, I remember when Trump came in and Obama, the way he was talking, like he's not fit to run this country.
Yeah.
he's a shame. You're going to see, and every time, especially foreign, he did an amazing job.
Right.
In the Middle East, he did an amazing job. Like he brought Israel together with a bunch of countries that they could never get together
Right.
with.
Yeah.
That what's his name? Kerry said it would never happen.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
So these things, like it's not about like Trump, or it's about paying attention to things that really happened and looking at facts.
Right.
And stop focusing on being mad at this one or being mad at that one. You have to look at what Biden is doing, you know, just him being comparable, like to be able to do these things. Like, dude, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, I mean, did you guys see all of those clips of him literally falling asleep?
No.
He was falling asleep
with the
while
Israeli
with the
Prime Minister.
Israeli prime minister is
Yeah.
talking to him and like praising him, and Biden sitting there like,
They tried to justify it.
Bro,
No, he was
like,
awake
he is
because
17.
Did he really do that?
Yeah,
no, he didn't do that.
fall over.
But he was
the old man not-
like this.
No.
he was just like
the
this.
old man like this.
He was just like
but
this.
He was like this a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you can't fall asleep doing stuff.
Dude, he's,
Like, but the dude is it's not like, I could get it if like nothing's happening and he's just sitting there and he's got his head down. Dude is talking to you and
Yeah.
praising you. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, falling asleep, bro. Like this is not.
I don't
even-
care what they say,
When
he
you're
fell
talking about stuff, like that clip, when he was hiding, and
Yeah.
then he came out of hiding.
That was
and he
4 or
talked-
5 days ago.
That was 4 or 5 days ago.
He was on
Like,
vacation.
Yeah.
bro. Who says that?
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't care.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody who really doesn't care.
Right.
And cares
he's like,
about.
why aren't you falling for my tricks? I stayed away for 4 days so you wouldn't ask me this question. Now you're asking
He's-
me
You're
anyway.
asking me this question.
Yeah.
And then when what's her name, the German prime minister, I think, tried to contact him. It took him 40 hours to get back to her.
What?
With the whole Afghanistan
Yeah, I
thing.
didn't even hear about that.
Because they were trying to contact him, like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're the lead. The U.S. is the lead there.
Right.
He didn't answer the phone, or his staff didn't get back to her for 40 hours.
Everybody was missing in action.
Yeah.
Saki went on vacation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The one dude was in the Hamptons.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy when you look at like what we're being sold and what we're being told. Like it's becoming too obvious to people now.
Yeah, and one thing like people will do is just they'll look away. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people will just look away.
Or they only watch the stuff that's gonna not cover these things.
Make them feel good.
Right.
You know.
Well, it like you said, it's almost like looking away because if they watch CNN all day, thank you, sir. If they watch CNN all day, they're never going to hear about Biden falling asleep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're never going to hear about
Or
it.
the
And if they
failure
do,
of Afghanistan pull
right. They're not. Well, they're talking about that,
Right.
Because they
How they
want to
wanna
go back
spin
in
it
there.
that way.
They want to spin it to go back in there.
Right.
But they're never going to say it in a way where like they're not going to talk about the fact that they left all those dogs over there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sean Kingston coming out the woodworks. That took us back to MTV right there. Woo.
Suicide.
Wow.
Did y'all have dance moves for that?
We sure did. Dance moves, buddy. We was hitting the
It was like
yeah, man.
Yep.
What a time. All right, so let's move on. Like I totally agree with all of you guys. We do got to pray for the people in Afghanistan. There's a lot of people still there stranded. They're lying about people being stranded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, like, shout out to some of the people who are going over there.
Yeah.
And
Private people.
getting people out of there.
Yep.
Like, there was a few people that I heard. And shout out to, see, this is kind of cool because like people who are pastors or, you know, in ministry that have these private jets, they're going over there.
Yeah, as they should.
Like Copeland.
Kenneth
you know.
Copeland.
really.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gave,
Kenneth Copeland?
He gave
Yeah.
Glenn Beck his fleet of planes to go in and rescue people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn
That's
Beck.
what's up.
The Nazarene.
So-
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
So yeah, it's cool to see that.
That's respect.
and
That's
that's
respect.
why like you don't know how
Mm-hmm.
things you might need something. Like even look at what's going on right now with COVID and them trying to pass the mandates where we can't travel, you know, travel bans.
Yep.
For people who aren't vaccinated,
Yeah.
which we'll get into.
Is Kenneth Copeland gonna supply his private jets for people like that?
I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
You can send one our way.
But see,
Park one right in New Jersey.
that's a little different. But what I'm saying is that see now you kind of need those things. You know, even if it's a smaller plane,
Right.
If they're trying to do this, there's ways to get around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to shout that out because like you can't just like
Lena said, Glenn Beck,
I mean
Paul said unvaxxed air. Yo,
I like it.
Unvaxxed
started,
airline.
yo, trademark
Let's
that
do
right
it.
now, Paul.
But what I'm saying is that you can't just paint somebody over and just be like kind of like that, like Glenn Beck.
Yeah.
Like you can't just paint them like they're just horrible.
Yeah.
There is always pieces of them that
And
are
listen, we
redeemable.
were like that with everybody. Like there's a lot of things about Glenn Beck that I don't agree with, but I'm not just going to write people off. There's
right. He says a lot of smart stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a good investigator.
It's just like someone like Bill Maher. Like Bill Maher, I disagree with probably 90% of what he says,
Yeah.
but there's 10% there that I agree with, and
Right.
he's,
As of late.
there are things even before when he was ridiculous as hell. Like even when he would talk about religion in a lot of ways, there's stuff there that he actually makes sense on. You know, it's just all shrouded in his own hurts and opinions, but like he's not irredeemable is what I'm saying. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we have this tendency to like when we don't agree with someone or they say a couple things that we don't like, it's like you know,
Oh, like how they do Trump.
how they do anybody. Kanye West,
Even Biden.
yeah, Biden. You know, Biden's a little harder. But,
We have to pray for Biden too.
yeah,
Biden and what's
Hillary Clinton.
yeah. Literally.
Nah, she's just a killer.
She said, "Nah, there's a reason behind my What's your reason? Write it in the chat.
Yeah, let us know your
we got to
reason.
hear this."
I like that unvaxxed air, man.
Yeah.
I really do. I really
That's
do, Paul.
hilarious.
I really do.
That's hilarious, man. That I think that airline might blow up overnight.
Yeah. Stocks.
You will find a lot of customers.
Because that's another thing. Like, why are we beholden to what these airlines are trying to say we have to do?
But they're federally regulated.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
What is it? The FAA or whatever.
Yeah.
FAA regulation. They say it on every flight we're on.
Yeah.
FAA regulations state that we have no choice but to force you to do this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody can say no.
Do
though.
something that don't make any sense.
She said Glenn Beck's got to chill because I feel like he's gonna hurt himself, like he's actual. Like his actual health, because he seems to not be able to separate the emotional when he reports. Oh, I actually follow him on Facebook. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's because he's a Mormon.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some stuff going on in that.
He believes in John Smith. Enough said.
Magic tablets.
The magical
some
tablets.
of his points,
But that don't mean he's...
Yeah.
it ain't all bad.
Right. Mitt Romney's a Mormon too.
Yeah.
I think that's just
That is not a good example.
But he,
I'm just saying,
he
like,
deals with the spiritual stuff too. That he sees. You
Right.
know? So it's not all bad.
that's
Well,
true.
it's
that's,
like, you know,
that's
you have to
another
be
level, though.
you have to be able to chew the meat and spit out the bones. You
Yep.
can't,
Yep.
sometimes, information you can glean some things from it and you can put
Yeah.
away certain things.
It's like we always talk about with Patrice O'Neal. Like, Patrice O'Neal was definitely not a man to like admire for
you wouldn't
his
aspire
like,
to be like him.
yes, but there was a lot of things that he said that was like meat that you could pull on to
Right.
understand how dynamics work amongst humans. Things that we kind of like never paid attention to, or just fall into the habits of these things that we're told. And he did such a great job of psychologically picking those things apart that it actually is helpful, So it's like, it's,
But not
You
solution.
Jones in the red, bro. You need
Oh, you gotta plug in.
oh, let me plug
you
it
need
in.
some plug.
You gotta mute him.
Chew the meat, spit out the bones. What if I eat bones sometimes,
There you
James? If it's fried, if the rib meat is fried good, on that breast, I'm eating them bones.
That's the thing. Like, if you chew up the good bones, sometimes bones are good, But you try to chew up a turkey leg bone.
Nah, I can't do that.
Your whole insides be tore up.
Right.
Turkeys have like the hardest bones.
Right.
They do, right?
Yeah, man.
They do.
You ever cut up like a turkey wing or something?
Yeah.
Them bones,
I
man.
mean, them beef bones are crazy. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm saying like for
Yeah.
the birds though.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Bird bones.
Because
like-
they're big.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to some of the COVID stuff we were going to talk about. First of all, I want to show this headline that kind of blew up on Twitter. You can pull this up, John. This blew up on Twitter this week and had people going crazy. Bloomberg did this article where they put the headline: "Previous COVID prevents Delta infections better than the Pfizer shot." Something that we've.
Are they saying natural immunity?
Yes, they're saying if having the
This is what we've been talking about.
So they put out this article, and people went nuts in the comments and the sharing and all of that. It was like, how dare you? This is dangerous. How could you do this?
And it's from Bloomberg.
Yeah, from Bloomberg.
Ah.
Yeah, who is not. This is the other side of that. Is like people always say, "Oh, it's these Trumpers that are anti-vax." So it's like Trump is the biggest vaccine salesman of anyone on the planet because he connects it to his legacy.
Yeah, that's right.
He actually got on my nerves how much he was pushing it.
I think he should stop saying it was a good thing because it turns out it's not.
So then after I saw that, there was this other article that came up recently, a new UCSF study. Vaccine-resistant viruses are driving breakthrough COVID infections. So this was a study done by USCF, which is...
Oh, Rogan was talking about that.
Yeah, so it's showing that these vaccines, the study itself, I'm not saying this Facebook or
People
YouTube
who
or
are
Twitch.
vaccinated.
This is not my opinion.
Yes.
This is what the study states, that people who are vaccinated are creating
like a mutated strand that's stronger.
A variant. A
Yeah,
variant that
that's
is
stronger.
vaccine resistant.
That's the word.
Which a lot of people are believing that the Delta actually came out of that. Because if you notice, Delta appeared shortly after the first wave of vaccines were pushed out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is true.
Right.
I'm just saying the study that they have here is showing that the vaccines are causing this more vaccine. What is the way they word it? Vaccine resistant viruses are driving.
Oh, so it's not the unvaxxers?
Yeah, it's not the unvaccinated.
According to the studies.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what the Dr. Robert Malone said.
Yeah.
This is why you don't rush through vaccines.
Yeah.
Because you have to get through the study of, is it a leaky, quote unquote, vaccine?
Yeah, that's what the word he kept using was a leaky
it's
vaccine.
A leaky vaccine, which means it's, what is it? Antibody dependent enhancement, ADE.
Right.
When vaccines do that, that means that it's your immune system is binding with the
spike
virus,
protein,
instead of blocking it.
Right.
So when it does that, it's replicating the virus within your system, and then you're putting it back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when it does that, vaccines get canceled.
Right.
That's why so much money is lost on vaccines.
Yeah.
Because once it does that, which takes time, which stop owning it,
right? Because you got to see how it starts to mutate,
yeah.
And then they start testing people, and they realize that the amount of virus in the nasal cavity and in the lungs is the same no matter vaccinated or not.
Yeah,
which is something that they're finding out now. The viral load is the same,
or more,
or worse.
It's
worse in the nasal cavities, right? And so then you can then take that new strain that's developing in you and then pass that on to other people, which is what kind of happens with the flu. He was explaining that happens with the flu, that the people get the flu shot thinking that flu shot stops them from getting the flu. It doesn't stop you from getting the flu. Yeah. It stops you from having the worst symptoms of the flu, but you still can be a carrier and a passer.
Right. And the next time it comes around, it'll be worse for you. The symptoms will be worse for you.
Right. And that's what they're seeing now with these breakthrough cases, they're calling them. What do we always say on this podcast? Pay attention to when they invent new language. Yeah. Anytime they invent new language for something, it's because they're lying to you. They're putting a spin on something. It's a spell. It's called spelling for a reason. Because every time they invent new language,
boom,
breakthrough cases, social distancing,
booster,
slow the spread, flatten the curve. All of these things are new ways of getting your brain to wrap itself around an idea that they want you to latch on to.
A virus?
Yeah.
They're trying to.
It's like a virus.
It's like the vaccine.
It's like the spike protein, right? Yeah. It's literally like the mental version of that. Yeah, it's crazy. So those two those two articles I saw, which was interesting. And then Mon sent this thing from this nurse talking on Facebook. We're going to play this real quick. So we can unmute the laptop.
Unplug.
Today I take care of a patient. She has been vaccinated, contracted COVID on July the 23rd, has been positive since then. Her friend is also vaccinated, also contracted COVID. Okay, so she actually had no symptoms. Her friend actually had every sign and symptom of COVID and is currently fighting for her life right now. She is able to be moved off the COVID unit because now her infection, she's been asymptomatic, and so they're going to move her to the step down COVID unit. I have another colleague who got the vaccination, who has been having this rash. First they thought it was shingles. Now it's not shingles. Once it heals in one part of her body, then it moves to another part. And this is something that happened after she got the vaccination. So I'm just here to tell you guys, the media is painted out like, okay, this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated people, that unvaccinated people are just running around here giving people COVID. That ain't true. You got the vaccination, you can still give other people COVID. A colleague, one of my anesthesia colleagues, all her family is vaccinated. They went to a camp. Half of the people wasn't vaccinated, but everybody in the camp got COVID. So the vaccinated and unvaccinated still got COVID. So we're all out here fighting a fight together. So, you know, this stuff about being insensitive, unvaccinated people are insensitive, that is so not true. And patients saying that, oh, I don't want this person to take care of me because they're not vaccinated. You guys come in the hospital with all types of diseases. We don't pick and choose which disease we gonna treat. We just take care of you and so you can get back home to your family. So no one is out here being insensitive. We're all out here fighting this fight together. And as long as we continue to be divided, then guess what? COVID is still going to be around here or whatever, because it is a lot of us. Still continue to wear the mask. We're still continue to be social distances. We're not out here trying to party, none like that. So I'm just saying, just be a little more sensitive to other people's choices. We don't force you to do something you don't want to do. You shouldn't force us to do something we don't want to do, especially when it's not an actual cure.
Or vaccine.
Not an actual vaccine.
Right.
Like smallpox.
We just talked to people while we were in Atlanta who had the same type of story. Remember on the tour bus? Talking about like everybody vaccinated but still contracted COVID. You know what I mean? Like
right after they got vaccinated.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and
they went back and forth.
To be fair, they never said that it's a cure either.
They never did.
Not a cure, but vaccines are.
But why are they pushing it?
Prevent you from getting.
No, wait a minute.
Like the flu shot thing.
They didn't say it was a cure, but they did initially say that getting vaccinated would stop you from getting COVID.
Yeah.
And then they changed that.
Yeah.
They kept moving the bar,
which
moving
is what
the goalpost.
Stan was saying.
Right.
I think to me that the time needed to do it's just not enough.
Yeah.
So you can't because every other week, every other month, when something changed, it seems like they're going back to change it to suit.
It's like they rush it out there and then they're dealing with it as it comes.
Right.
Like, well, hopefully this works.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they're like, well, now it can't actually stop, but it's this amount effective, so you won't feel any symptoms and you won't spread it. Because then they were saying that you won't spread it, right? Well, but then they realized that wasn't true, you know.
Let's hear from somebody who knows the science of these vaccines.
Okay, what does that mean?
The video I sent you.
Which you sent me 2 videos.
The one that's like 8 minutes long.
The one of the doctor?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
Hello, my name is Dr. Christina Parks. I received my PhD in cellular and molecular biology right here in the state of Michigan from University of Michigan Medical School. And so I'm very well versed in the science of both these mRNA gene therapy vaccines, this kind of technology, as well as what a vaccine is designed to do in the body, what it can do, what it can't do, and the fact that this is extremely complex science that has been oversimplified in the media to basically take away our freedom of choice. What I want to address today in this limited time is the fact that vaccine requirements and mandates are based on the faulty assumption that the vaccines in question prevent transmission of the pathogen, right? Does the vaccine for DTaP prevent transmission? No. Does the vaccine for flu prevent transmission? No. Do the vaccines for COVID prevent transmission? No. In fact, they were never designed to do that. All right, so you're asking, what about this 95% effectiveness? If you look at those clinical trials, they do not say that they prevent transmission. They expressly say that they're measuring whether they attenuate symptoms. So they're 95% effective based on their clinical trials at attenuate.
Everybody knows attenuate means to slow down or stop. Okay.
Waiting symptoms for the first variant, which is essentially gone.
Yeah.
The first variant.
Right.
So
the vaccines were designed to attenuate symptoms from the first variant.
Right. So what's happening now is the second variant that's coming around. And that's why, like, we were talking to Wendell and when we were in Atlanta, and he's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, well, I shouldn't have said it.
I just didn't know. I just didn't want to, but it's all good.
Yeah. So he got the shot.
Yeah.
But then he gets it right after because he's getting now the second variant, right? Which can't do anything. And he actually got really, really sick, you know, where he almost had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because he got really sick. Because that's the issue. And she kind of goes into why that would happen.
Which the vaccines do work for that, for serious,
protecting against serious illness.
Yeah.
So, if he didn't,
not the second time around,
right?
Not for the Delta,
right.
Because we saw that case we talked about last week where they said where the dude died who was fully vaccinated, and they said if he wasn't vaccinated, it would have been worse. Yeah,
right. How about living? I don't want to die.
Isn't that the worst it could get?
Right. You see on the screen, Aria is sending me requests for games right here.
Yeah, I get that from Jakey all the time.
All right, let's keep going with the video.
Population. Right now, the predominant variant is the Delta, and CDC Director Walensky basically said that these vaccines have no ability to prevent infection by and transmission of the Delta variant. So, our policy needs not to be built on the hope of what we think something we want it to do, but what the data actually tell us. So do these viruses do the vaccines prevent the virus from infecting and replicating in the nose and nasopharynx? No. They've only been shown to prevent that replication in the lungs. They're different. The mucosa is very different than the lungs. It's very different than the blood. You inject it to the blood, you make antibodies in your blood. The virus isn't infecting your blood. It's infecting your mucosa, and you don't produce any IgA to neutralize it. In fact, recent studies have shown that the vaccinated, especially with the Delta variant, and the unvaccinated have similar amounts of virus in their nose and throat. In Barnstable, Massachusetts, the CDC tracked an outbreak of 469 cases of COVID. 74% occurred in fully vaccinated, and 4 out of 5 of those hospitalized were vaccinated.
4 out of 5.
So so what you're saying with the Delta variant and what she's showing from this was a CDC study that 4 out of 5 people who were vaccinated were still hospitalized. So it's not as effective against, per their study, it's not as effective against dehospitalization as it is on the first variant. The first variant, it was more effective against keeping you out of the hospital. Now we're dealing with something different, which is what she's laying out here.
Right.
Okay.
Right, so maybe they are mandating this because they just didn't know with the COVID. And so my main complaint is with our health agencies and the CDC,
It's
who
actually on the
basically
video.
know better and are misleading the public. So let's look at DTaP, which the scientists and the CDC have known since 2014 that the acellular pertussis vaccine does not prevent people from getting infected with the pertussis bacteria and passing it to others. In fact, it was never designed to do that. The vaccine was designed to neutralize the pertussis toxin. Pertussis, we know it as whooping cough. It can be fatal for children under 6 months. So neutralizing this toxin saves lives, all right? I'm not going to debate that. But what it doesn't do is neutralize the bacteria. So what happens is fully vaccinated children go to daycare, they pick up that bacteria, and they come home and they give it to their newborn brother or sister. They get deathly ill, and they go to the hospital. Hopefully, our medical professionals are able to save them. But who do they blame? Now the CDC is blaming anti-vaxxers for the limitations of this vaccine design. I suggest that they be transparent and tell parents that although it is preventing severe disease in their children, it is not preventing transmission because we have created a whole class of asymptomatic pertussis carriers who are increasing the disease. Now, the old DTP vaccine that many of you who are my age or older got did prevent transmission. When we switched to the safer acellular version, they knew that it was never designed to prevent transmission. It was safer, it had less adverse events, but pertussis cases have gone through the roof. There's a resurgence in pertussis because of the design of the vaccine, and the vaccinologists know this. They're trying to address it, and so we cannot mandate that something that does not prevent transmission.
That's something else that always kind of like muddies the water, I think, for a lot of people, and it bothers me too, is that this idea that we know, like it's common knowledge that we know that you can still get vaccinated and pass the vaccine. So when you see all of these like major outlets, even like these science, medical professionals saying, oh, this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated at this point, or the anti-vax people are spreading this, they're putting us all at risk. It's like, you're just lying.
Another
It's a
division.
straight lie. Yeah, and it's to cause division. And people get mad. And
Yeah.
people look at you and they feel
Right.
like they have the right to, you know,
Shame
yell at you.
you.
Like when we were at a show and talking to a guy, he was like, I got vaccinated. And he's like, you got vaccinated, right? So I'm like, I just drank my cup. Put my eyes up. And he's like, he really got, like, walked away from me. Like,
Really?
And I'm thinking, like, dude, you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you afraid
You
of?
don't got
Like,
nothing to worry
isn't that
about.
the reason why you got vaccinated?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are you worried about me for? You know,
But wait, who is this?
Nah, I don't. Yeah. Well,
just a guy.
Just a guy on the stage?
No.
It was at
This was at Joy and Peace.
yeah.
Oh,
Again.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know. I didn't know.
he hit a rage first.
Oh, he did? Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
that was funny.
Yes. That's
He's like
hilarious.
backed away from Jake.
Like, dude, yeah, you're coming to a show at enclosed
Yeah.
space,
Right.
and you don't think people are not gonna be. You're just gonna trust people.
Listen,
But you don't have nothing to worry about. You're
Exactly, you're vaccinated.
the logic behind it would tell you that you like this is what makes it so weird, because it's like, why are you afraid if you took the thing that's supposed to keep you safe?
Yeah,
And he had a mask.
Yeah.
yeah, you're wearing a mask.
He had a mask. So
That
it's
mask
like,
is gonna protect you. That vaccine is gonna protect you.
and why do we wear a mask? Like, we wear a mask because of it's not about the air, it's about the droplets, right? So you're talking to somebody, maybe there's some spit that gets on you, like you breathe it in. That's it. That's the only thing it prevents. And that's why, like, outside it's not,
And
like,
even
it
that
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
work because the droplets are smaller than what the mask
Yeah,
can prevent.
and they go right through the mask.
So it goes right through
Well,
the mask.
The type of mask that
Depending on the type
normal
of mask.
people wear.
It's even coming out that N95s don't work against
Right.
COVID.
Wow.
They're not designed
Droplets.
to stop that small of
That's it. What are we talking about?
But it can still help, right? And,
it can help.
and so what
There
I'm saying
is
is
some level
in
of,
the
of
error-
protection. Yeah.
In the what do you call it? The margin of error.
Right.
So
Right.
you're either good with it or without.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is that, like, it's about you.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to do anything to hurt you. If you want to do that, then put the mask on.
Yeah.
Do everything.
Get all the
you need to
vaccine.
do.
Get every vaccine.
Get the vaccine.
You want. Yeah.
If you want to get a vaccine, I'm not going to stop you from getting a vaccine.
And it's not even something to like care about. Like, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
But it's when you're like now, like, trying to shame me or put,
Right.
then it's like, all right, dude, wear a mask for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
John, and James don't do that to us. So
Right.
I don't need
but
to get your dang vaccine. I don't really care. It don't matter to me.
It's true, man.
But
We ain't up here getting mad at each other because.
Yeah.
I
But
think
that's what they want. I think
that's what they want.
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
The vax to.
They want to create a
division.
divide, and in the team scenario, like I said, Giants versus Eagles, and
Giants are trash.
Giants are unvaccinated, by the way. And the Eagles are all vaxxed.
Giants are irrelevant.
Oh gosh. But what I'm saying is, and for the longest time, they used the science as the hammer to beat you into submission. But now we have people like this that are making and there's a lot of science professionals that are coming out speaking out against this, and they're getting banned, they're getting deplatformed. You know, we talked about this with Brett Weinstein or Eric Weinstein. I can't never remember which one it was.
Yeah,
like, it's one
Dark
thing,
Horse.
even
Dark
to
Horse.
mandate something that actually works, like, it's still not, in America, that's not freedom.
Right.
But the thing is, this don't even work.
Yeah.
Like, against the variant that we're dealing with. So what are we even talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the issue.
End it there. That's
Yeah.
where the conversation should end. There is no conversation after.
Right.
But
There's a lot of other things at stake here. There's a lot of money a lot of money invested.
Think
the
about
government
that.
gave billions of dollars to these companies to develop it.
to
They
the
want
same companies
and they
that you
want to
hate.
push it to the whole world.
Yeah.
They were just sent Kamala to Vietnam to try to push them to get the vaccine.
Did you see her talk to them?
I didn't watch it.
Oh my goodness,
They-
the worst, man.
This is what they're doing. They talk. You saw
she's laughing.
with
Yeah. And we're going to give you the vaccines.
Yeah.
We got the vaccines for you.
Yeah, and she did. Didn't she do the same thing when she went to Guatemala?
Yeah.
She was trying to push they're going around like she's like the freaking pharmaceutical salesperson. Like you know how they send the woman around to all the doctors to push the new like she's doing that to the world. Like that's her job to go around the world and push these vaccines to everybody.
Wow. Let's keep watching this.
Yeah.
She said some good stuff.
Okay, we're gonna keep watching.
All right, what about the flu vaccine? Well, they have shown that basically there's no difference, there's no statistical difference if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, whether you get the flu or not. But it's even worse because although that first year it is somewhat effective, it's about 65% effective at preventing symptoms in you, after that it actually has negative efficacy.
Negative.
Yeah, bro. That's what's crazy.
Drop.
Yes.
So like literally the next time around, that if you don't take the new one, and that's what's crazy. So
Yeah.
now you're like, if you take the flu vaccine, you have to take it the next year,
Right.
or else
you're
It's
more
gonna be
susceptible
worse.
to
Yes.
the
Yeah.
flu. That's why I've never taken it.
Yeah, neither.
I fell victim.
Is this the new Candace Owens of the medical community now? She's gonna be.
She's gonna be banned.
No, she could be banned, but all the conservative outlets are
Right.
gonna like hire her to be like,
Only
"Can
she
you
has a
talk?
white husband."
We want to talk to you." Yeah, she has to have a British husband, right? She's the new face of white supremacy. Is Doctor? What's her name? Parks, Dr. Parks,
Christina Parks.
Christina Parks,
Ben
the new
Cross is
face.
like, that's my sister.
You go, girl.
Get wild on them.
I'm so excited right now. All right, let's keep
And I
going.
want to address this because it's very important. Vaccines are made to a specific variant. And when that variant mutates, the vaccine no longer recognizes it. And so it's like you're seeing a completely new virus. And because that's so, you actually get more severe symptoms when you're vaccinated against one variant and then it mutates and then your body sees the other variant. So there's the potential, and the science shows that, in fact, with the flu, if you get vaccinated in multiple years, you are more likely to get severe disease, you are more likely to have more viral replication, and you are more likely to be hospitalized, both in adults and in children. We are seeing the same thing in COVID with the Delta variant. And so we are mandating that people get a vaccine that could actually make them more sick when they're exposed to the virus. In fact, this week, a paper came out, and what it showed is that with this Delta variant, when you're vaccinated, your body makes antibodies that are supposed to neutralize the virus. But they were supposed to neutralize the old variant. When they see this new variant, what they're doing is the antibodies are taking the virus and helping it infect the cells. All right.
What did Bill Gates say?
What did he say?
Population control through what?
Vaccines. Yeah. That was one of the weirdest, creepiest things I've ever seen.
He himself.
Yeah. But just the fact that he was like, we need to get this number down near zero. And
nobody's...
everyone
And they
laughed
laughed.
like he
They
was
laughed.
joking.
Yeah.
And then he just continues on. And we're doing this through, he said, through what is it with women's health? Because he mentioned vaccines.
I don't know.
But, like abortion, birth control, what is that? I can't think.
For reproductive.
Yeah,
rights.
reproductive health.
Yeah.
Reproductive health. And vaccines. And no one thought, that's weird. Of course people on the internet posted that and said that was weird. But, yeah, it's weird when you hear her explain it this way, where it's like,
Yeah.
so the new variant actually gets amplified by the vaccine. And that's why you're seeing all these people getting hospitalized now. 4 out of 5 people in that study that they just mentioned from the CDC.
Vaccinated.
Fully vaccinated. And in Israel, it's going crazy. Like Israel's one of the most vaccinated places in the world right now by percentage. And the people being hospitalized is crazy.
Breakthrough.
But they're calling it breakthrough. Like this is the language that they're using to make it seem like, oh, that's not normal though. It's just the breakthrough. You know, whatever breaks through, you know. So we're being lulled into this illusion of, well, first it was like, well, if you take it, your life will go back to normal. You can go to the movies, you can do all these things, blah, blah, blah. But also,
that's the snake
you'll
oil.
be, like all these illusions of, these carrots they keep putting in front of us. That
because how are they drawing you in? Through fear. You know?
Fear and the desire to go back to comfort.
The desire to go back to a false comfort.
Yeah. Right.
That's really...
It's what it is. And so many people were like, I remember, shout out to our keyboard player, Steve. I'm gonna put you on Front Street right now. But he told me, he kept saying jokingly after he got vaccinated, he was like, hey guys, I'm going to get to go to the movies and you're not. Like, remember he kept saying that. Like, that's not working for you now, bro. How's that? Yeah, but it was just funny. All right. Keep playing.
Right, that science was just published this week. We need to be looking at the science, and we need our policy to reflect the science, and we also need it to reflect our rights. Okay. And so, as a PhD who knows the science, I'm in the category of the most vaccine hesitant group. Yes, PhDs are the most vaccine hesitant. Followed by...
Hear that? Yeah, I've heard this many times from different statistics, different studies that I saw, that the most vaccine hesitant group is PhDs. And
not only that, but I've heard that a lot of these very wealthy, highly educated people do not eat certain types of food either.
That's absolutely true. And they don't let their kids on social media.
I was just about to say that.
There's so many things that they don't let their kids go to public school. Yeah. All this is for a reason.
Yeah.
And we're the ones that are just told, no, this is good for you. Yeah. This is good. You guys are the cattle. You guys are the sheep.
People who have less than a high school degree because they know what they don't know and they don't trust their government. And many people, the other group that is very vaccine hesitant are African Americans. 70% of African Americans have not taken this vaccine.
Because they don't trust the government.
Because they don't trust their government.
Oh.
Hey. Guys, we're all a statistic right now. Moan is technically African American.
I've been drafted.
They put this in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Did they?
The Elijah...
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep. They did. Yeah. So, but it's the same concept, right? Like, why would black people be so quick to run to get a shot that the government tells them, no, you got to get this, guys? Like, no, we don't trust you.
We've seen this before.
Yeah. We remember when you did this last time.
What? I have to bring this point up, though.
Yeah.
It's funny how conservatives will bring that point up about Africans not trusting, but when you talk about the Tuskegee Spread, they're like, oh, anyway, about the thing.
Right.
Don't bring that up.
U.S. is an honorable country, would never do such things.
Yeah, that's what she brings up.
Yeah. I know. She does actually go into that.
Do they have reason not to trust their government? Well, between the years of 1930 and 1970, the CDC conducted the Tuskegee experiment.
The CDC.
Where they took untreated males with syphilis,
Bastion.
and they refused to treat them. Even after antibiotics became available, they still did not treat them, and they did not tell them that they had syphilis. They told those people that they were there to secure their health, and they did not secure their health. They abused them. You say, well, that was in the past, although I don't think 1970 was that long ago. Well, in 2012, whistleblower William Thompson came forward and said, we published a study that said MMR does not cause autism, but we lied. In fact, we shredded data that showed that when black boys are vaccinated on time, they have increased rates of autism diagnosis. And we shredded it and we left it out of the paper.
Black boys. Shredded that data. Why do you think? Just going to leave that there.
As an African American and a
nothing.
PhD, I want to ask each of you, are we going to exclude 70% of African American people from the workforce and from education? Right? My ancestors did not work this hard. I come from a family that worked very hard, and I'm very aware that my privileges are dependent on the work of my grandmother and my great-grandmother, and I have great respect for these people. that put me where I am. And yet you're telling me that my son will not be able to be educated if, based on the history of African Americans in this country, that he doesn't want to be vaccinated? All right, so I will leave you with that question. Who are we going to exclude from the workforce? Are we going to continue with discrimination and segregation in the United States of America? Thank you.
And that's one of the things that a lot of these people don't want to touch on is that fact right there. Especially a lot of these liberals, these lefties that are always talking about Black Lives Matter and fighting for these racial causes, is the fact that the people that you're going to exclude from being able to travel, from being able to go to restaurants, from being able to go to get an education is going to be 70% of the Black community.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they never really cared about them anyway.
but they give the illusion that they do, right? So it exposes the hypocrisy of like, we only care about you when it fits.
Well, from the angle of they can use Black plight to further a
right.
specific agenda.
Exactly. But what it points out to me is like, this is what you claim conservatives do, right? This is, they always say, oh, but conservatives only use Black people when it fits their need. But y'all do the same thing. You know what I mean? And trying to get Black people to see that sometimes is the hard part. Because that's what I'm always trying to fight to show, like, my Black friends and family members that don't see it. It's like,
I mean, I never knew about the Tuskegee experiment until a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that wasn't,
I knew about it because my dad, my dad would always talk about that, my dad.
But again, like, it's to show us, stop trusting government. Yeah. It's not like to be like, look at what government does. They don't care about Black people. No, that's not really what it's about.
They don't care about anybody.
Yeah. They don't care about who they don't care about. If they think you're not.
They only care about you if it benefits another agenda. They don't really care about anybody.
Right.
They use the fact that you want them to care about you to push.
You know why? Because government shouldn't care. Government is not there to care.
Right.
The people in government are there to care.
Right.
And what am I talking about? I mean, the system is not there to care. It's just the system.
Yeah.
It's just some rules and just some regulations. It's the people behind it. So it's about us being responsible for voting these people in place and seeing who actually cares. Right? And we've been duped by all the marketing that's been going on for the last...
The campaigns.
All these things that have been going on that we've been just like, yeah, I like him.
But that's the hard part is like, how can you really tell who cares and who's just pretending?
Because when you know who really cares. Because when you know who really cares, Jesus. When you know who really cares, like, and here we go. That's what I'm saying. Like, do we really think he cares? Like, if you're a Christian and you don't really believe that Jesus actually cares for you and he is everything.
Right.
You know how it says, me and Moan were bringing this up. I brought it up, but he kind of like, he said, it was funny because at church, he had already written this scripture, right? But it's about trusting the Lord, right? And then the next verse is, this is in Proverbs 3, acknowledge him in all your ways, right? And why? Because if you acknowledge him in everything you do, right? When we compartmentalize, well, that has nothing to do with God. That's why you can't relate it to people. Because you never related it to him in the first place, right? But when you start to realize that he is truly your answer for every situation in your life,
right?
Now you can relate that back to people.
Right.
Now you can see the fake from the real.
So you're saying like once you learn to really, really trust in God, then you'll be able to see who's real and who's fake.
Yeah, and you look at Hebrews.
Yeah.
Hebrews talks about Hebrews 5. It talks about learning obedience and it says strive to enter into that rest, right? That rest. Jesus is the Sabbath, he's the rest. What does that mean? That means stop trying to figure it out yourself. Stop trying to work it out yourself. Lay that life down. Then take on his life. He's going to give you a true way to see it, but you got to lay down that life, right? You got to lay down you trying to figure it out. And then once you do that, now you can come into the sword of the Spirit that's able to divide soul from spirit, right? It says it's the discerner of the hearts and minds. It knows the intents of the hearts and minds.
Right.
So now we start to see what's real and what's fake.
It starts to become obvious.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you saying that. I read this thing, right, where they said to teach people how to pick up on counterfeit, they have them work with real money for a long time.
Wow.
And as soon as a fake one touches their hand,
they can feel it.
They can feel it.
Yeah.
You know,
that is.
It was at the Mint.
Dude,
it was like they were saying
that is a perfect analogy.
They make them work with it so
the
much.
The more you're connected
it,
to the real thing, when you see something phony, it sticks out.
As soon as they touch it in their hand, they're like, this doesn't feel.
Man.
You know, because you know they wash it to kind of.
Yep, give it that
even
beat
then
up
they can
look.
feel it. Like wow.
Yeah.
Because what is the point of obedience? It's not to do everything God says. It's to trust Him.
Right.
That's what faith is.
Right.
Faith is trust.
To learn to trust.
You know?
Learn patience. Learn trust.
And when we do that, then we're able to know the real from the fake.
Yeah, and we're panicking too. Part of it too is we're programmed to panic with the crowd. We're programmed to panic with everybody. You know, actually, it's funny. Another analogy about if you're in a crowd and everybody starts running, the worst thing you could do is run with them.
Yep. You're supposed to run the opposite direction.
Or stay still. Actually, stay. Let them
Right.
run away from you.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how people get trampled.
That's how
all
people
the
get
time.
trampled.
Yeah.
And they showed a scene where everybody ran. They don't know what they're running from. But when they hit the door, it created like this
funnel. They like
almost like a full meet of people, and
Yeah.
that's where like a bunch of people died.
Yeah.
And the guy was basically explaining. He's like, "Listen, when everybody starts running, you should actually stay still.
Stop.
I don't even."
Didn't that happen at a soccer game like a long time ago, where a bunch of people died because they all like rushed into the stadium?
Yeah.
And everyone was just following the crowd.
Yeah, they couldn't fit through the door.
Yeah.
And there's pretty much like, the video showed them just like large, like legs, just they couldn't get out. And right in there is where all that pressure and all that weight just crushed everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and the guy showed people who didn't run just like walking around in the field while this was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, right over there that was happening, but people were just like walking around the field and people are dying, getting crushed to death. I was like, wow, it's really true, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Makes
and I think
sense,
that's what happens here is part of this whole thing is, you know, the pressure, people feeling it, and they're gonna use it to like convince everybody else to do it so we can get back to normal.
Right.
Don't you want that?
Don't you want that?
Yeah.
Why would you? Don't you care about people staying?
Yeah, people are dying. That's what I tried to educate the older black lady at the building.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
where's your mask at?
Yeah,
I'm not wearing a mask. They don't work. You want to know why they don't work? People are dying.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna just let you go ahead. You don't want to hear why they don't work.
Go on.
And the language too, you know. By the summer, you can have a hot dog.
Yep.
You can have a bar. You know,
you can have 5 people at your barbecue.
Hold on. Did we approve him?
Yeah, but how did that work out though? Like it's just all of these things that they keep saying don't amount to anything. You know.
Yep. Nor are they, you know, following what they're saying.
But what is it like what James was saying, like those things cause funnels, you know, and I always talk about this, like that's the waves of the sea that are like raging, right?
Yeah.
And Jesus is saying peace, but still. But when you look at like James, it says that the ones who are in the waves of the sea are double-minded, you know, being tossed to and fro. Right, because you're just going with every wind.
Yeah,
you're being blown by every wind.
Yeah, you're running. You're running with the crowd.
I've turned it off, man.
Yeah,
be like the tree. Come on,
by
man.
the waves,
planted by the water.
Yeah,
but if you like, but when in your trial, when you're going through something, if you're not moved emotionally, right, like, and you settle yourself in God, it creates patience in you. And that patience or that endurance, it says, let that have its perfect work in you. It's perfecting you.
Right.
That you lack nothing. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Like, God is like, I'm going to provide for you. You know, I'm going to make your life prosperous.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all these things. But then we're over here trying to do it all ourselves, you know?
Right.
And
so you're saying You're saying Bruce Lee was wrong.
I'm saying that we got
Tie that
trust in
in.
God.
Was Bruce Lee a believer?
The clip that everyone plays about Bruce Lee.
Be
when
like
he- when he-
water. Be like water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water go in the cup, it fit in the cup, it become the cup.
Yeah.
Water in the bowl, it becomes the bowl. Be like water.
Yeah, I'm saying.
By the way.
Huh?
I love the Asian accent.
I'm saying he didn't think that thing all the way through.
Yeah, right,
You
right,
know,
right.
because he didn't have that mind.
Right.
And
He's
that's
saying,
okay.
He's saying be fluid and be
Fluid,
molded
yeah.
into
Right,
everything.
which is not.
Maybe that works in fighting. Right?
Well, hold on.
He's like, because water can be still or it can crash.
Right,
You know?
which isn't bad. Like,
Right.
but you gotta be moved by, like, the wind is what is behind the moving of the water.
Right.
This
Right.
is the clip that's gonna make y'all famous. Water and Bruce Lee. It's like Bruce Lee. Put a clip of Bruce Lee and Jake like, no,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
water.
yeah, right.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Yo, that's a good clip. Let's make that clip.
Let's make that clip for the overtime.
Paul,
Yo.
Paul said the ones tossed by the waves are ... double mast.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Double mask. I went somewhere and someone had the mask with the shield on top of it. I was like, okay.
But really, when you see people like that and they're like so anxious and like want to snap on you, they need peace.
Yeah.
They
They're
need
in fear.
peace.
Yeah.
You know, and you see that, like, they're anxious, they got anxiety. You know,
Yeah.
You can have a talk. I've had talks with people when they come out, like, how anxious they are, what's going on, and I'm like, God can give you peace, but it's all, how are you willing to receive that?
A lot of
You
people
know?
aren't willing to trust in that
And
way.
it's part of human nature to react out
Yeah.
of, you know.
Yeah, that
They
old
know
nature.
that. That's why they constantly bombard us with this stuff on the news. You know, because they know that human nature is going to make us move with whatever they tell us.
But it's like all these generations before us survived somehow.
Yeah.
Is it because of a vaccine?
I don't know,
There was a lot of people died.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
Yeah, but we're here.
That's why they had a lot of kids.
I'm saying I think we live a lot longer now.
Yeah.
Than we did back then, and you know, families were a lot bigger. You usually lost
And
one
we're
or two
not saying
kids.
no vaccines.
Yeah. I was just going to say that some vaccines do work.
This
There are
is
actual
that. I
vaccines.
think
Polio is amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
Right.
yeah.
That guy's story is amazing, by the way.
Who?
The guy who.
The
cured
guy who.
polio.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think it's you know what we're asking people to do is stop, pay attention to the divisiveness of politics and the agenda, but then pay attention how world powers or world ideologies come on the scene. It doesn't come on as aggressive as it used to be. It comes on through
It's very subtle.
divisive means, subtle
Yeah.
means, or whatever it is. They have to use these kind of things.
Right.
And
That's the wisdom of the world.
and that's what a lot of people are just do it and shut up.
Yeah.
You know, yes, but what if in 5 years another one comes out?
That's the
and
point.
in 10 years another one comes out. What do we do then?
Yeah.
Are we just gonna?
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line?
Or what are the effects of doing said thing, going along with said thing?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the side effects
For
of
this
that?
temporary
For
moment.
this temporary moment.
Right.
What is it going to cost us?
And when are we ever going to be rid of this thing, or we do this and then you create something else? There's
And this
4
doesn't
lines on that vaccine passport for a reason.
And it doesn't stop with that. It stops with, you know what? The Bible says this. Let's get rid of that thing.
Yeah, right.
We don't like
exactly.
you said that. It never stops. Tyrants never stop implementing order and control.
And you got to be honest and obvious about the fact that when they come against religion, they say, like, you know, religious people are the worst. They're only talking about Christians.
Yeah.
They're only talking about
specifically.
because they do not care when it's other religions, you know
Because
what I mean? that are even more oppressive.
That reminds me of a Little Dicky clip. Have y'all seen that?
I did see that.
No, I don't know.
You guys didn't see that?
I don't know.
You want to pull it up?
I'll pull it up. Yeah. What was that? Yeah. I'll pull it up real quick.
I thought as soon as I watched it, I thought like, dude, he would never do the same thing with Allah or, you know, Muhammad or whatever like that, because the backlash that he would get.
Even the lady from
It's like
CNN,
he was-
she's wearing the is it the
burqa
or whatever it is?
I think
she's wearing it as she probably would never honor a Christian, you know, something, you know what I mean, with that sense of authority. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she's doing it to like honor
Or
them. You know what I
hijab?
mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, is it hijab?
I think it's
I think hit job.
Okay, here we go. I think this is
that's
just
not
the
the rap.
visual. That's not the audio. But I think they did that so that we don't get banned. Oh, yeah, this is somebody's commentary on it. I just want.
Who's this?
That's Little Dicky, the rapper.
Rapper.
He was like, he started out as like a troll rapper kind of vibe, and then he actually got famous because he could actually rap.
He has
But
a funny TV show.
his name was Lil Dicky
Called Dave.
as a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
That was his
Need
rap.
not say more.
Yeah.
But he actually is a good rapper. So, let's see if I can find the clip of the actual song. But I just don't want to get copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
But you know why though he can get away with that? Because Christians don't get outraged the way the Muslims would get outraged.
Yeah, that's
Christians
what
get outraged, but they ain't chopping heads
not
off.
saying-
You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right.
They're just saying some stuff.
Yeah.
Because when you look at what Lil Nas X does, Lil Nas X knows Christians are going to be outraged by the stuff that he does, but he knows all it's going to do is amplify him.
Right.
There's nothing they can really do to stop him.
Right, and their
you
kids
know?
love it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's like, what
He
are
looks
you
like a
going to do?
BG from that.
His look is.
He's a goofy Philadelphia boy.
Oh, he's like a white Lil Nas X, basically.
Just that performance, like his other stuff has never been like that.
He's like, so you go with the devil?
Why are you
I'll
trying
go
to find the
with
words? He says some stuff.
Yeah, he's talking
Yeah,
about he's you know.
Don't get
you see-
desensitized. I'll look it up.
Yeah, you guys can look it up on your own time. Put that down. So he's basically, mocking Christianity.
Yeah.
But he comes up on the cross. It's like a whole thing where he's mocking Christianity. Moan's point is like, you would never do that with Islam. You would never do that with.
You'd be canceled in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
There'd be an actual sacrifice.
No, right. Not only would you be canceled. Like, remember they blamed the whole Benghazi thing on a video.
Oh yeah, the Muhammad
that
cartoon
was a lie, but that's what they blamed it on.
Right.
But even if someone did mocking Krishna,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, they would be canceled. Especially a white dude mocking Krishna, mocking Buddha, any of these things.
Right.
But it's like, for some reason, like, because I saw a tweet the other day, I was gonna send it to y'all, where it was like someone posted up, the worst thing is when I see kids that are indoctrinated into religion at a young age. That's the worst thing possible for humanity. And then their very next tweet was like praising little Muslim kids for their culture.
Yeah.
It's like, the juxtaposition. You're only talking about Christianity.
Yeah.
Because the ideals are
Which
in
is
this
true.
country. You know what I mean?
They're going, specific. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because this country, that's what's popular. That's,
Right.
That's the biggest religion is Christianity.
But even the fallacy in that logic is weird, because it sounds like a car alarm. Okay. The fallacy in that logic is weird because it's like the things that you hate about Christianity are even more amplified in Islam. You know what I mean? Like, all the things you hate about Christianity that you claim are like oppressive.
They don't like the gays.
Yeah. or just their views on women, their views on marriage or premarital sex or
like
any
the
of
gays,
these things.
they killing the gays.
No, he's talking about Christianity. Like, people say Christians, and they're homophobic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like all of that, anti-trans, all this stuff. But it's like Islam gets a pass. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing. But anyway, all right. That last video. Do we need to play that, Jake?
It was just a little thing about Fauci's wife. It was not a big deal.
Oh, that was the thing about her making a bunch of money.
How she works for the company that hires people for.
We'll play it real quick because it ties into what we were talking about with COVID.
To watch the news. I don't need to watch the news. I don't need to. Why? But let me tell you this. Do you know who Christine Grady is? No, I don't. Okay. Christine Grady is the director of the NIH. Do you know what that is? The NIH are the people who give jobs to the FDA for the vaccine to go into humans, right? Okay. Did you know that she's the wife of Dr. Fauci?
No.
Huh? Do you think that's an accident?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
She sounds like a Karen.
Yeah. But it's just funny, man, because people don't do any of this research. They just go with whatever the news tells them. Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, I mean, is like, whatever he says. Don Lemon.
You could change the names out.
I know.
They both doing the same thing.
Yeah, Chris Cuomo is the worst.
He's the bro.
Yeah.
But even Andrew, like right now, he's getting investigated. A lot of stuff happening with that family, man. We'll see what happens there.
You see, they added 12,000 deaths
Yep.
to the COVID numbers.
Yep.
The new governor did.
Exactly. They found 12,000 more people that he hid that died.
Wow.
So they were just covering that up.
Wow. And didn't he get like some kind of Emmy or something?
He got an Emmy for
how he handled it.
No, Emmy for his press conferences.
Show, yeah.
Okay. His press conferences got him an Emmy.
Because it was
How
fiction?
does that?
He did such a good job acting. Yeah, that's how he got them Emmys.
But they did take it back, though.
They took it back after he resigned. Yeah.
But
Right.
but that's what's crazy. Like, you think they hold themselves accountable? No. You think they hold themselves accountable for like, oh wow, how do we didn't see?
And is anyone going to say, yo, the Emmys are bullshit? Like, why would they give this? No. They just like, oh, well, they took it back, so it's still.
It's all right.
There's a lot of people not holding themselves
You know what the best thing
accountable.
about COVID though is all of the all the show like the Oscars, the Grammys, all of that.
All of that went up in flames. Like
none of that matters.
MTV Awards, all these things. It was like people started realizing this is dumb. This is dumb. Even sports, a lot of sports have taken
numbers.
a dive, man.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are avid sports fan. Have you been watching?
Not as much. I don't follow as much, but I know that your boy Cam Newton got cut off.
Cam
from
Newton.
New
Cam
England.
Newton got cut from
he got
the Patriots
because that young boy was balling. I actually watched.
Mac Jones is good, guys.
I watched that. I watched the game that he was playing. That last game, man. That dude.
I said to Moan years ago, I like Cam Newton.
And he never let you forget it.
He'll bring that up. I'll be 82 years old.
Remember when you liked Cam Newton?
Because it just never made sense to me. Like
what's wrong with you, boy?
The buffoonery that Cam Newton displayed.
Yeah, James is totally against that
the
behavior.
The Dick Tracy hat.
But when he came on, he wasn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, John's like that with Patrick Mahomes now because he got mad.
He got in his feels, boy.
He got mad.
He got in his feels.
Oh, he's a fan of Patrick Mahomes?
Giants still suck.
Yeah, we
were over Stan's house.
I was just messing around with the fact that Patrick Mahomes played bad in the Super Bowl, and John was like, him and Nana both.
Because Nana started it, right?
Nana started it.
Yeah.
That's the first time I was on Nana's side in any type of sports argument ever.
They got so bad, like we were trying to blame everything on him. Like,
it's crazy.
Do you think it was him, or you think Tom Brady is just that good?
Well, it was
Patrick Mahomes did not.
He had an off game.
It was a combination of many things.
Yeah,
but
his team too.
It was also.
I agree with John.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes definitely did not play his best game in the Super Bowl. I will say that.
And the defense played a good game.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can all happen at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a bad day for you if you're the Chiefs.
Because I remember watching it. I'm like, yo, Patrick Mahomes is like running around. Like he runs around, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
it didn't feel magical like,
the season did.
The season did.
How he performed all season.
Yeah.
All right. That being said,
Jake's like, enough football.
I was going to say about football. Cole, apparently, the meme was going around because Cole Beasley is against the vaccine.
I did see that.
I'm a Cole Beasley fan now,
Apparently
man.
he's infecting the whole NFL because people are tested positive for COVID everywhere.
So they're blaming it all on him. Oh, wow. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, studies show now that it's the vaccinated ones.
Yeah, exactly.
What this shows is how quick we are to blame. You know?
Yeah.
And I want to close it on that. When you look at, like, it says perfect love cast out all fear, right? And fear is connected to what? Punishment, right? Fear is connected to punishment, and that's connected to judgment and condemnation, right? Condemning, right? because if you're in fear and it's entered you, you feel that. You got to get that feeling off of you. Right?
Yeah.
So now you're going to try to push it on somebody else. And this is one of the most quoted Bible scriptures that most people know this. God so loved the world, John 3:16, that he gave his only begotten son, right? That who shall ever believe on him will have eternal life. But the next part is whoever believes on him is not condemned or is not punished, right?
Right.
Whoever doesn't believe in him is already condemned, is already in punishment. And that's the issue in this world. We're always looking who to blame so we don't feel the fear.
Yeah.
So we don't feel insecure. And when we do that, we literally just push it on somebody else. And when we connect and agree in that, we push it on somebody else and connect and agree together to push it on somebody else. Also, we don't feel that, right?
Right.
It's because it's all about the feeling. Because if I feel insecure about something, I got to make myself feel comfortable and secure. And this is what happens in societies. This is what happens in little community. It's always it's that blame game. It's who can we blame this on? This is what happened.
It happens in marriages.
This is what happened. That's why, it happens in marriages. But this is why, y'all can't get caught up in race. Y'all can't get caught up in gender, all these little things. Because even in terms of slavery, all this stuff that happened, all that is a reason to blame somebody else. All that is a reason to be able to look at something and say, see, here, right there, let's blame them. It's not even so we always get caught up in that lesser thing, you know what I mean, looking at that. But really the greater thing is that we're all condemned because we don't believe. But when we do believe, we're free. You know what I mean? So if you feel that feeling of you gotta place blame on somebody, you need to forgive those people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's where we trust God.
And that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to come to terms with,
Because you want to feel
right.
that, it feels good to snap on somebody,
right.
or
because it gives you a sense of justice,
right?
But it's not true justice, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So that I just wanted that, add that in.
That was good, man.
Was
I appreciate
good, bro.
that. All right, let's wrap it up, guys.
Spoke to me.
Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to all the young lions who've been sticking with us. Paul, shout out to that brother. He's always got great comments.
We got to get up with Paul, man.
Yeah, we got to. He hit me up too. He wants to get together to work on this music.
The music, yeah.
We got to figure out when we can do all that. Listen, if you guys want to become a young lion, if you want to support the things that we're talking about, you want to support this kingdom lifestyle, come into the pride of the young lions, you can sign up on our Patreon. You become a member over there. We got a bunch of different tiers you can sign up for. If you're feeling like you really want to get involved, hit that Lion King level subscription. Join in.
What are we learning to do as young lions?
We're learning how to devour the kingdom of darkness. We're learning how to catch prey. Catch prey, man. And the prey is all of those dark places that keep us in bondage. All of the things that keep us in fear. All of the spiritual things that we are oppressed by. That's
we wrestle
the prey.
not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities,
might and dominion.
Might and dominions.
So yeah, like being a young lion and everything that we're talking about is about building that community, that kingdom, that culture, that
learning together.
Yeah. And this is something that we're constantly learning together. And we always are constantly sharpening each other. We're always, if we weren't here right now, if we were just together somewhere hanging out, we would be talking about these same things, just bouncing it off of each other and just, this is what we do. So it's like we want to continue to build this with other like-minded people, other people that want to see better for their community, for the culture, for black culture, for white culture, for everybody. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Asian culture?
Yeah, Asian too. Asian's white now, so that's included.
That was...
Yeah, Hispanics are black.
They're not accepting me though, bro. I'm a little dark.
Hispanics and Indians are black, and Asians are white. So
you've already put in the white section. Dude. Don't matter.
Yeah,
I'm too dark.
Yeah, he's already black. It's too late. But yeah, That's it, guys. We appreciate you. Paul said, "Pray or become prey." That's right,
brother.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
So listen. Also, if you want to check out our music, we got a lot of new music coming soon. We got a lot of good stuff on the website, jatan.com. You can go over there, check out the music. You can stream us on all platforms. Also, we have merch. You see us rocking some of it right now, but we have other stuff that you can get on the website as well. Also, on our YouTube channel, subscribe, become a member, hit the notification bell.
I can't wait till we release.
I know, man.
Bro, like, it's so healing.
Yeah,
I
man.
can't wait till we put that out.
That song is, when we do it live, a lot of people feel it. It definitely has impact. That song, when we were writing it, and a lot of people were crying when we were writing it. It was one of those like emotional songs.
I almost cry every time.
Yeah. What else? Oh, shout out to the people on Twitch. Thank you guys. You know, Twitch is new to us, so we're just streaming over there, seeing who wants to, be a part of the Young Lions. And I think that's it. We'll see you guys next week. We're out.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in.